Hi there, welcome back to my channel, and we have a lot to cover today. I wanted to talk about fixing a failed emulsion when making formulas. There are a lot of reasons why emulsions fail, and I've had my fair share of failures, but there are things we can do to mitigate that or understand why it happened and preventing it from happening again. Okay, so this formula from this video, the tallow serum, well, a few days ago I noticed it was starting to separate, which was about 2 weeks from the time that I made it. So, But first off, let me say that's why I put a disclaimer on my videos. The stability of the formulas is on you if you decide to make them. Most of the formulas that I share will be stable just because I've made them before over the years and I am comfortable sharing them on here. But there are certain times where emulsions can still fail. This type of serum is more at risk for having a failed emulsion, and I know that because I've made this type of serum before with the same kind of emulsifier and thickener like the one I used in the video, and I have had it fail before. But there are ways we can fix it. So let's look at the original formula and see if we can figure out where it went wrong. When I look at a formula that failed to stay emulsified, here's what I look at first. 1, the preservative, 2, the emulsifier, 3, the thickener, 4, the actives and extracts or extras and electrolytes. So any additions. And then 5, the whole formula's compatibility with each other, the ingredients. So we can use this list to help us understand how and why a formula won't stay emulsified. So let's look at the preservative first. I use Germol Plus for this, and Germol Plus doesn't typically cause emulsion instability. So if we were using something like Optifin Plus, which is really known for thinning out emulsions, then that would be a possibility. But Optifin Plus causes emulsion instability immediately when you add it to the formula, not 2 weeks later. So it's not the preservative. So let's look at the emulsifier. Is it cationic, anionic, or non-ionic? We want to look at those things. Most emulsifiers are non-ionic. BTMS is an exception. But remember, if your emulsifier is cationic, then it could be conflicting with your thickener or any other ingredient that is anionic. This doesn't happen often, and it's really not common. It's likely not the issue with the formula. Most cationic emulsifiers are typically used in hair formulas, not always, but you're not going to see them very much in creams or serum type formulas. So our emulsifier was non-ionic, so we're pretty good there. Another thing to consider is, did I use enough emulsifier for the amount of oils in the formula? I didn't think that was the issue here because I had a very small oil phase, and montanov 202 is recommended at 3 to 5% with a 5 to 30% oil phase. So I thought it was enough, but there's a possibility I needed to use more because I had a really high water phase. So let's look at the thickener, which is hydroxyethycellulose. This is a great thickener and it has a pretty awesome skin feel. But from experience, it's a very fine line of using not enough of it and too much of it. So with a serum formula like this, we need to stay under 1%. With hydroxyethycellulose, it can be too thick if you use it around 1%. So I think I possibly did not use enough of this thickener. So we can actually increase it to 0.85% in the formula. We can also use a different thickener if we wanted to, like xanthan gum would be a good alternative at 0.80%. So when testing stability and trying to figure out if a formula is going to work without having to waste too much money on the remaking with all the ingredients, is leave out the extras and the actives and just do the main parts of the formula. So the water, the thickener, the emulsifier, and the oils, and the preservative. In this formula, the actives I use likely aren't interfering with the formula's ability to stay emulsified. So when I retested the new formulas, I had 2 of them. I upped the montanov 202 to 4%, and I did one formula with hydroxyethycellulose at 0.85%, and then I did the other with xanthan gum at 0.80%. So we're approaching the 2-week mark without any separation for both of them. And we can see how much thicker this is with just increasing the hydroxyethycellulose in one of the formulas. The xanthan gum one remains slightly more fluid, but it's safe to say these two will likely stay emulsified. So looking at the one with the hydroxyethyl-cellulose, we can see how much thicker this one is just by increasing the hydroxyethyl-cellulose very little. And the xanthan gum one remains slightly more fluid, but it's safe to say these two will likely stay emulsified. So by going down this checklist, we can try to understand why an emulsion failed. And from my experience over the years, it's usually always the emulsifier and or thickener or lack thereof. Usually. If you have an emulsion fail, don't fret. There's likely an answer and a solution. So checking all these things will help you get to the bottom of it. I hope that helps, and I'll be putting the link for this video in the other video. That way people can see it before they make it and end up with a failed emulsion. So thank you for watching, and we'll be back this week with another formula. I don't know what yet, but please check out my Patreon because this month we are focusing on surfactants. So shampoo bars, face washes, cream shampoos, and conditioners. I hope you all have a good week, and I will see you soon.